everyone, this is Miss Gabby. Welcome to Story Time for week 4 of our 2021 summer reading program, Reading Colors Your World. Today we're going to be reading Dancing Through Fields of Colors, the Story of Helen Frankenthaler, written by Elizabeth Brown and illustrated by Aimée Sicurro. And wow, do we recognize Helen Frankenthaler's name? That's because we've been learning about her this week for our warm and cool colors theme. Well, let's get started. I'm so excited to learn more about Helen Frankenthaler. At a time when girls were taught to sit still, learn their manners, and color inside the lines, Helen Frankenthaler colored her reds, blues, and yellows any which way she chose. Helen never wanted to follow the rules. Wow, look at that. That's so funny. Look at all of those colors that Helen is using. They're jumping out of the page. When her mother called her to the dinner table, Helen continued painting watercolors of the sunset, shining through the apartment window. Wow, what pretty colors! And look, those are the colors that she's using. They bleed all over the page, just like they bleed all over the sky. Instead of going to bed, Helen filled the sink with water. She dribbled in drops of ruby red nail polish and watched the colors flow. When she let the water out, she loved to watch the color swirl into shapes. Wow, so that's the technique she's using to get those beautiful warm colors. Wow, brilliant. During summer vacations, Helen let the waves whoosh and whirl around her, sailing her body through the tides. When her father called her ashore, she wanted to keep circling, twisting, and floating. And wow, do you notice that the circling, twisting, and floating is describing the movement of the water too? Look, circling, twisting. Wow, cool. Forever wrapped in the blue-green colors of the sea. And what kind of colors do we see here? They're cool colors. The blue-green colors of the sea are cool colors. Wow. While her older sisters were in school, Helen spent her days with her mother, who nurtured her dreams. Helen read and wrote stories, made collages, and created designs with glass beads, circles, hearts, and stars in brilliant colors. She painted pictures and cards for her birthdays and anniversaries filled with all the colors of happiness, purple, yellow, and pink. Warm colors. Helen's father worked long days as a judge. She couldn't wait for him to come home each day. He took her wherever she wanted to go. Oh, that's so nice that she has such supportive parents. Her mom wants her to paint whatever she wants to paint, and her dad takes her to all of these fun places. Wow, there's a merry-go-round, there's some monkeys, some lions, they went to the zoo. Wow, how nice. Most of all, Helen loved taking walks with her family in Central Park. She ran under the welcoming sky, waltzing, twirling, leaping. Oh, she must be having so much fun. Look at her. Across the lush green fields and played hide and seek among the flowering trees. When it was time to go, Helen took the colored chalk she had stuffed in her coat pocket and drew a line from the front of the Metropolitan Museum of Art through the park, across the street, and through the crowds around the corner all the way home. Well, that's a creative idea, taking the chalk and making a line all over the city from the museum to her house. Wow, impressive. The colorful line connected the two things she loved the most. Helen's parents always encouraged her to blossom, express herself, paint free. In art class at school, Helen wanted to do things her way, but she had to follow the rules in order to pass. Don't sketch that way, draw like this, paint what you see. Helen pleased her teachers when she sketched figures, drew chairs, and painted flowers and pears like all the other students. But she wished for something different. Yeah, I can see how it could be pretty boring to paint the same thing over again. I mean, you can only paint a pear so many times, right? Helen found comfort in painting seascapes. The blues and greens reminded her of summer days with her family at the beach. She made pictures of her trips to the country with bursts of orange gold paints that warmed her face like the sun. So she's painting cool colors that she sees in the oceans and warm colors that she sees in the sun. How beautiful! That's an interesting way of painting the beach. Soon, Helen's happiness disappeared entirely. When she was 11, her father died. Helen missed him so much that her sadness caused pounding headaches. She struggled in school. Helen tried painting, but nothing came out. Aww. Her canvas remained blank, her world of colors and light dark. But colors lived in her mind, floating and shifting like the shapes she made in childhood. Staring at every color in her paint box, memories came back to her. Periwinkle, the feathery whisper of her father's encouragement. Ochre, the warmth of her father's hand as they strolled in the country. Cobalt and crystal, the summers splashing in the ocean's waves. Helen began to paint again, and eventually art healed her. Oh, she was able to feel better when she painted because the different colors in her paint box reminded her of her dad. Oh, so painting really did heal her. Helen followed the rules well enough to succeed in school and go to college to study painting. Her professor wanted color separated with thick black lines, her brush marks and planes arranged across her canvas to create depth and space. Helen loved collage, but she longed to paint what she felt inside. Painting feelings couldn't be contained in black lines or organized into clear shapes or objects. Helen dreamed of setting her colors free like she was as a child, running without boundaries. She searched for more. Wow, so she wanted the colors to break free out of the lines. Wow, pretty. After collage, Helen moved back to New York, where many artists were exploring forms, lines, and shapes differently. The overlapped bands of color thought more about geometry and painted larger and larger pictures. Helen met an artist named Jackson Pollock, whose paintings hung in museums and galleries. Their art world called him the greatest living painter in the United States. Wow, Jackson Pollock. Reviewers celebrated, fans loved him. When Helen saw his work, she marveled at how he splattered and dripped his paintings on canvas tacked to the studio floor. If he broke the rules, why couldn't she? And that's true. What an interesting painting. And what an interesting way to paint. Splattering colors all over canvas on the floor. I think she's getting some ideas. Helen exhibited her art in small shows while male painters were given bigger exhibits. Critics called Helen's work too sweet in color, too lyrical, too ladylike. She worked longer and harder at her paintings, drawing strength from her memories and the country and sea. She wanted to leap into her colors, feel the colors, and be the colors. Wow, what beautiful paintings. Art never let her down. Wow. Helen traveled to Nova Scotia to get away. As she walked through the fields, color swirled around her. Cerulean blue and coral cascaded down mountains of saffron and gold. Rose, pink, and lavender rippled across the sky. Spring green and vermilion gushed through the sea waves. What beautiful colors! My goodness. Wow. Helen felt the countryside move within her body. She saw the mountains with her arms. She heard the sea in her wrists. She could paint the beauty she saw all around her. Could she paint the beauty she saw all around her? Could color be the painting? Helen grew brave. Back home in New York, Helen laid a huge canvas on the floor. She put down her brush. Helen blended red and yellow to make orange. Blues and yellows became greens. She mixed and mixed and mixed and mixed rainbows. Helen swirled charcoal lines across her canvas to guide her, like the chalk line she drew as a girl in the city. With a fistful of pink, Helen turned her wrists outward and spread the paint. Streams of color racing and spiraling, the paint soaking into the canvas, like rain seeping into soil. Wow, look at the interesting movement she's doing all over her paintings. She's just pouring it directly onto the canvas, and the colors are mixing and swirling together. Helen grabbed a bucket of crimson and poured. Setting her colors free, they ran and rushed. They're mixing together and making these beautiful, beautiful colors and beautiful shapes. The colors turned into memories. Helen imagined the mountain peaks of Nova Scotia with her arms. She remembered the sea waves with her wrists. With a sweep of her arm, she splashed green like sea foam. Colors jetted across the painting, merged and connected like rivers into oceans, colors into feelings. Wherever the paint landed was the perfect place to be. Oh, wow! All of these movements and colors are reminding her of her dad and her family and growing up. There she is on the beach. There are the ocean, like the ocean colors and the sunset colors of the beach. Grabbing a nearby mop as her partner, Helen promenaded through puddles and pools of paints, pushing and pulling her colors together. Oranges and reds tangoed, corals pirouetted, pinks plied, yellows and blues sashayed, winding, turning, spinning. Wow, she's capturing the movements of the colors, the dancing of the colors, and the brightness of the colors. When she was done, Helen danced in that field, free among all the shimmering colors of her life, extending, reaching beyond the painting into forever. Wow, Helen Frankenthaler truly did dance through fields of colors. She moved her body, flicked her wrists, spun colors all over. They twirled, they danced. How beautiful, how interesting. What a great method to express herself. Well, that's the end of our story. The way Helen Frankenthaler paints is so interesting to learn about. The way she danced, the way she flicked her wrists and moved her body, and the way the paint moved with her. So interesting. Well, make sure to look at the questions that we've published along with the video. Until next time, bye!